Okay, so for graphing a piecewise defined function, we have to remember a lot of the stuff that we know about piecewise functions. And we know that f of x is the same thing as y. So all of these values here are our y's. So now I do things a little bit different. What all of the after the ifs, those are telling me what my x's are going to be. So what I can do is I can, for each one of these points or each one of these endpoints, I can actually say what the coordinates will be and whether or not it'll be an open circle or a closed circle. So we're going to be connecting between these x values, but it's actually points because we have x's and y's. So my first x that I have is negative 3.5. So I have negative 3.5. And the y that's going with that is a negative 3 because that's the row that I'm on. And if I'm looking at that, it's the inequality is just a less than, so that is an open circle. Now, if I was writing this in my notebook, I'd have a little bit more space. We're going to try to squeeze it in here. So the other point that I have on this row is going to be the x is less than or equal to negative 2.5. So the other point is going to be negative 2.5. And my y is still negative 3. So negative 3. That's a negative. And for this one, it is a closed circle. All right. So then the next row, my y in this row is negative 2, and I'm starting at negative 2.5 with an open circle. So my point is negative 2.5, comma, negative 2. And then my other point is going to be negative 1.5, and it's still a negative 2 for the y. And this is my closed circle. All right, we're going to keep going for the rest of those, the rest of the points. And then we're going to actually plot the points. And we're going to have to use, it might let me do that. Since it didn't give me the XY, it's going to probably let me do the 0.5s on my graph. So they're going to be halfway through. One never knows. All right, so this point is negative 1.5 for the x. My y is negative 1. This is the open circle. This one is also an open circle, and it is going from negative 0.5, and my y is negative 1 still. All right, then this row, I now have a closed circle, and that is at negative 0.5, and my y is 0. And this one is an open circle, and it's at 0.5 and 0. All right, my last one is going to be at 0.5 and 1, because that's the row. It is a closed circle. And then I'm going to 1.5, and I have a 1, and that is an open circle. So then what I get to do is plot those points. So the first one, I'm at negative 3.5 and negative 3, and it's an open circle. So I'm going to plot all of my open circles first, just so that I can have them in there, so I don't have to switch symbols on my keystrokes. So negative 3.5. Okay, so it is letting me do the halves, and then negative 3. Make sure I didn't move over. My next open circle is negative 2.5, negative 2. So negative 2.5, negative 2. My next open circle is a negative 1.5, negative 1. Okay, and the next open circle that's over here is 0.50. And it's a positive. And then my last open circle is 1.5 and a 1. 1.5, 1. And now I'm going to draw a graph all of my closed circles. So the first one is the negative 2.5, negative 3. So it's there. Remember, this is still a function because the open circle doesn't count as a point. So I don't really have 2 points right above each other. And then my next one is negative 1.5, negative 2. Closed circle is at negative 0.50. I am missing this open circle, which is the -0.5, -1. Sorry. Before I forget it. And then we're going to count our points to make sure that we have all of them. Next closed circle was this one, which is 0.5 and 1. 0.5 and 1. Now make sure that we have all of our points counted for. So there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So all of them are drawn. Now, since they're on the same row, these points are on the same row, there's going to be a line segment connecting them. So we're going to do the line segment, and from -3.5 to -2.5. So -3.5, -2.5, that y equals -3. Those points have to be connected. The -2 lines, where the y is -2, those points have to be connected with a segment. Remember, we're endpoints, so we want the segment one. And these ones, and you're working your way all the way down, and we have all of these points connected. It doesn't matter which order you do, just make sure that that blue line shows up. I know it's really hard to see. All right, so now there's a blue line between each of these. This is called a step function. And it's kind of, at least for this point, or for part of it, you can think of it as how when you're paid for work and you get a promotion or you get an increase in pay, you have one pay rate and then you jump up to the next one. So that's kind of how it works. But really, if you put those points for those endpoints and determine if it's included with the or equal to, if it says equal to, then it's a closed circle. Otherwise, it's an open circle for the not equal to. So we'll check this one, and then we're going to do one more for this video. And hopefully this will help make more sense. Like I said, I do these kind of weird, but it's what works for me. All right, so Alex was happy with it. Hopefully that you can read the points a little bit. Some of my circles are a little not so great, but remember, we're going with those inequalities. So we're going to try another one. We're going to clear all of my pictures, all of my writing, and we're going to try another one and see the other types that they will give us, hopefully. Yeah, so this is another one where we have inequalities, but then we have equal signs. So these ones, we're going to do the same thing. We just don't have two endpoints with it. So we're going to say where our points are, and then we're going to finish the graph. So remember, this is the y's, and these are my y's, these are my x's, and we're going to just say, okay, so if x is less than 0, so x is 0, we're going to put that one. That's the number that they're giving me. It's going to be an open circle because it's a less than. So this is going to be 0, -1. All right, this one's equal to, so this is a closed circle. I still have the x is 0. So this is going to be 0, -2. So they're not giving me more than one endpoint. So these are just going to be single points where we're looking at stuff. With the inequalities, they're going to keep going from that spot. But we're doing it the same as we did the other thing. Those endpoints, whatever number they give us, we're just going to match it up with the y that we have. So x is greater than 0. So that doesn't have the or equal to. It's an open circle, and it's 0, 0. All right, so when we graph these points, we're going to put the points in first. I have an open circle at 0, -1. 0, -1. There's an open circle. Okay, I have a closed circle at 0, -2. 0, -2. And I have an open circle at 0, 0. Okay. Yeah. All right. And then for these ones, I'm looking for the greater thans or equal to. So for the 0, the y equals 0, it's the x is greater than. So I want all of the x's that are bigger than the 0 that I plugged in. So I'm going to take the ray and I'm going to go this way and then just pick another point anywhere on that. So I've got my blue line that's going from 0 to the right. For the top one, that's the other inequality, and that's saying everything less than 0 for the X. So on my -1 line, I need everything less than, so I need everything to the left. So I have my endpoint, and then I'm just picking any point to the left of that. And that's what my graph is going to look like. I've got 1 point at the Y on the Y-axis where my X is 0, and that's at -2. And then there's 2 open circles with the arrows going in either direction. Okay, so that's one way. There is another type of problem that might take me a minute to find, where they only give you 2 points and they graph a little bit different. So I want to make sure that we include that one. It's very similar to this one. I think I've kind of gone from hardest to easiest, the most work to less work. So we're going to look and see if we can get another one that is going to cooperate with me and give me what I want. Nope, that's like the first one. It's like the first one. Okay, this one. So this one's only got us 2 values. We're going to still do it the same way that we've done the other 2. Where we're going to say what the point is, because remember, we've got our Y and our X, and this point, my X is 0 because it's the number they gave me. It's not equal to, so it's going to be an open circle, 0, and then my Y is 4. All right, the second row, my X equals 0, so that's going to be my closed circle. And my point will be 0 for the X and 5 for the Y. So when I graph this, I put the dots in first. So my open circle is at 0, 4. Okay. My closed circle is at 0, 5. All right, so anything that doesn't equal 0 is going to be part of my line. So the way that Alex has you graph these ones, because it's different, is I need everything except for this one hole on the graph. So I actually take the line system. It doesn't let you do array through everything. So I can pick any point on this line. I could pick this circle if I wanted. Any point, and I get that line through it. And they have that hole because we put that inequality in there. And that is what how you're going to have to graph these ones if there's only 2. If you graph it on paper, it makes a little bit more sense because you're going from either directions, but that's the quirkiness of graphing with Alex. But just to make sure, we will show the correct thing. And hopefully this makes things a little bit easier for you guys with the graphing the piecewise graphs and understanding what piecewise is a little bit more, which helps us with those functions.